Alright, so this is how you want to arrange your clips, with the second clip on the top, the shorter clip, and the longer clip on the bottom at the start. You want to have the second clip come in on a beat so it sounds slightly better, because you want it to sort of pop in onto the bottom or the top, depends what you want to do really. I'm going to do it on the bottom because I think that looks a little bit better. So anyway, let's start putting the effects on. So before you start the split effect on this clip, what you want to do is time remap them, because you really need the flow on this point here so that the entrance of the clip is nice and smooth and clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the bottom clip and we're going to click time up here, then enable time remapping, and we're going to go to the start of the clip where it says marker 1 here, and we're going to press on this. We're then going to go to the clip, the part where the entrances of the next clip, you see here it changes, and we're going to place another keyframe. We're then going to go to the end, and you notice you can't see, so what you want to do is add an extra frame real quick, just so you can see it for now, but you can remove that at the end, it's not really needed. And then what you want to do is once you've got all 3 of these keyframes, what you want to do is shift click on all of them, select them all, and press F9 on the keyboard to easy use them. So what you want to do now is you want to click on one of these, and then click on graph editor, and it will show you all of your keyframes in motion here. So what you want to do is you want to take this and drag it up so that we have a sharp spike at the start, and then you want to take this and drag it down so that it slows in the middle, and you can just sort of tweak this so that it slows in the middle and then speeds up again at the end. And this right here is where it switches to the next thing, so we want it to start slow, speed up as it switches, and then slow down again over here. So what we're going to do is the same on this side. We're going to do this, we're going to bring this up and bring this down, and this gives it a really smooth sort of movement path. So if we turn off the top clip for a second so you see the whole thing, you can see how it goes slow, quick, quick again, like that. Alright, so now what you want to do is you want to do the exact same thing for the second clip. You just want to put a keyframe here and a keyframe here. So I'll show you how to do it quickly. What you want to do is time, enable time remapping, go to the start of the clip, place a keyframe, and go to the end and place another keyframe. Shift click, hold on both of them, F9, click on one of them, click on graph editor, and then change these like this. Now, I forgot to mention at the start, but if your graph does not look like this, what you want to do is you want to go down here and then click on edit value graph, because if you click on edit speed graph, it looks something like this. Probably won't be able to understand it quite as well, so value graph is what you want to look at to get this. Okay, so now your time remapping is done, we can start to add the actual split effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top clip, the second clip that comes in about halfway through, and we're going to double click on it so we're on the layer and not the composition. And what we're going to do, we're going to see this, it might zoom out. If it doesn't, then you can just use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You probably want to zoom out for this, and then you're going to click up here on the pen tool or press G on your keyboard, and then that's going to make the pen. So what you want to do is you want to click on one side of the clip, I'm going to click about here, and then click on the other side, so I'm going to go here, and then that'll make a line. And what you want to do is you want to join this up in like a quadrilateral sort of thing, like this. And what you've done is you've chopped off the top of the clip. Now, I obviously want this to be in the middle so that the clip's even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one up here, which is also V on the keyboard, and then select all of these and drag it up so that it's in the very middle here. Okay, so now that's done, we can see that it chops off the top of the clip. So what we want to do now is we want to bring this down, bring masks down, and bring mask 1 down, and see mask path here. At the start, we want the clip to not show any of this second clip, do we? But at the end, say about 3 or 4 frames in, we're going to make it show this little bit down here. So to do that, you're going to press page down on your keyboard about 3 or 4 times to go across a few frames. So I'm going to go 4, I think. And then I'm going to click on this little keyframe icon here, the stopwatch. There you go. So now it's going to be this at that point in the video. But obviously we don't want it to be that the whole time. So if we go back 4 keyframes by pressing page up however many times. And then what we want to do is we want to make another keyframe here, but we want to drag this back down again. So if yours isn't already selected, if yours looks like this with the little circles, what you want to do is select it again so that it's squares. So the squares mean it's fully selected. And then you want to bring it back down like this. So now if we look at it, you can see that doesn't look quite as good as it could because we haven't done any easing on the keyframe. So what you can do is you can press on both of them and press F9 again, just like last time, and then go to the graph. And this one, keep the value graph, And what we want to do is we want to take this and we want to bring this back in. Take this and bring this all the way over here. And what this does, it means that it starts off fast and then eases in slowly. So it looks something like this. Alright, so now that's done, we can see that we've basically got the whole thing ready. But there's just a few things that you can do to sort of tweak it and make it look a little bit better. The first thing that I do, which I did on my montage that I posted on I actually don't know when I posted that. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to search up s_shake. Now if you don't have the Sapphire effects, I'm sure they're quite easy to download if you just look on YouTube, but you know, don't tell anyone I told you that. Anyway, basically drag this onto the second. But anyway, before you put the effect on, what you want to do is you want to do new. So you want to right click on the blank bit here, press new, and press adjustment layer. So now you've got an adjustment layer over the whole thing. I'm going to shorten it and just put it over the video clips. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to drag the shake onto your adjustment layer. And you want to go one before the second clip. You see where it changes here? You want to go one before the clip. And you want to press on the keyframe and make that 0. You then want to press page down, remember, to go 1 forwards. Change this to 0.8. So then what you want to do is you want to go about 8 or 9 keyframes ahead and go down to 0 again. Also, to make this look a bit cleaner, we want to add motion blur and put this to motion blur length 2. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove this by changing that to 0. So now there's only a Y shake, and we're going to increase the round amp on the Y shake by doing that, changing it to 80. So you see these little drop downs here we're going to change. And make sure the motion blur length is 2 and the motion blur is on. That's what I like as my settings, but you can play around with it. So this is what it looks like. So that's about it for the split effects. You can obviously put effects on. You'll probably want black bars or a little bit of magic bullet just for a general CC or something. I don't know, it's up to you really. But there you go, that's the split effect. Okay, for the second effect I'm going to show you, it's going to be the Confetti Effect. It basically uses S film damage, so before I explain it, obviously that's a Sapphire effect, so if you don't have Sapphire, I'm sorry, you cannot follow along with this one. Okay, so I'm going to assume your clip is all synced up and ready, with obviously a kill on the drop or whatever part of the song you want it on. So what we're going to do is we're going to search up film damage, and we're going to use S film damage. We're going to drag this onto our clip, and you're going to see all of this grain and the dust. Basically, I'm going to get rid of all of this by just coming up to this part here and just dragging everything to 0. Apart from, we'll leave dust density on because that's what we're going to use for the confetti. So if you drag everything to 0, you want to go up to dust density, and then instead of, you don't want to click this down, this is just velocity and that. So leave that as what it is. You want to go to dust details, change the color of both of these to white by just clicking on the black, change it to white. Easy as that. And then vary dust color. Increase that until you like the colours you're seeing. I'm going to put it on about 4. And then that's basically what we want to do to get most of it on there really. And then you see there's loads of dust. What we can do though is we can do vary dust size, if we just do that, and vary dust brightness, vary dust opacity, just change loads of stuff. As much as you want to change really, it's up to you. But I think I'm going to leave it like this. I think that looks good. Let's just have a look, see if there's any. I think maybe there's a few that are too big, so I'm going to change vary dust size down a little bit. And we're going to just have a look around, see if the effect looks good. Okay, yeah, I like the effect. So what we're going to do now is going to keyframe it so that the dust explodes sort of on the shot. So we're going to use page up and page down to move frames. I'm going to go where the shot is. And I'm going to use basically the bullet to see when my shot hits. So if we go here, we see 1, 0, 1. So we're going to go onto where it says 1, keyframe the dust density at 0. Then I'm going to press, on my clip, press U, and that will bring the keyframes down. And then we're going to go across 1, then increase this to about, what do you think? Let's say about 30. And we're going to go about 20 into the front, and then go down to whatever you want. I'm going to go to about 10, I think. And then I'm just going to leave it for the rest. So there's still dust on there afterwards. It's just sort of the remnants of the explosion. So yeah, you can see that on the kill, it sort of shows you a load of dust like that. You can also put other effects on because it doesn't really work as just an effect on its own. So what I did on my montage is I used glow. I used Sapphire Glow. However, there's also normal glow, so if you don't have Sapphire, you can follow along with that part. You can put glow on. But I'm going to put Sapphire Glow on. And then I'm going to change the brightness to 0 over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the keyframe button here. And then I'm going to click on this again, press U, because that brings down the keyframes. We can see brightness here. So we're going to go to the exact same point that we've got the keyframes here. And we're going to keyframe one just before it says 0. Goes to the second one, put a keyframe there, and change that to 0.6 I'm going to go for. And then I'm going to go a couple keyframes into the future, bring that down to about 0.15, because I want to keep the glow a little bit afterwards, so it feels like the effect's still there. What you can do, you can play around with it, bring it out. There you go, you see like that. It's really easy to do. What we're also going to want to do, because obviously you've got to have a screen pump on a shot. If you don't have a screen pump on your shots, what are you even doing? So I'm going to quickly put a screen pump on. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the clip here and press S for scale, and it'll bring this little pad up here. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to the same point. So you see where this hits 0, where all our effects are on. We're going to keyframe that and go to, I like going to 110. And we're going to go back 4 using page up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Change that to 100. And then we're going to go into the future, probably to the end of the clip, I think. And then I'm going to go to about 102. So yeah, it's quite good there. So obviously for a clip like this, there's a little bit of a build up here where nothing's really happening. And it's a little bit boring just to have nothing there. So what I like to do, generally, is I can do two things. I'll do both of them, because they usually look good together. What you want to do is you want to grab any sort of black and white effect that you can put on. I use monochrome, the Sapphire monochrome effect. But I'm sure there's other effects that you don't need plugins for, because, you know, black and white's a pretty common effect. So what I do is you put mix with source to 1, and you'll keyframe that for whenever you want it to start going down. So let's find a point. So what I'm going to do is at the sort of bang, I'm going to mark it just so that I know for later. I think it's about here, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keyframe that, and then I'm going to press U to show all the keyframes. And where it says mix with source, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing it down. And when we get to the kill, what I'm going to do is about a keyframe before the kill, I'm going to have that on to 0.2. Roughly 0.2, doesn't really matter. And then on the kill, I'm going to bring it back up to 1 again. So what this basically does is it just sort of slowly starts. So yeah, it's sort of a build up to the kill like that. Another thing you can do, which is even simpler, you don't need an effect for this, is what you can do is you can just click on the clip, and then what you can do is you can go to obviously wherever you want it, scroll down, bring the effects back up, and on the transform tab, if you go to opacity, wherever you want it to start, I usually have the opacity get lower before the monochrome, so I'll start at the start of the clip, and then I'll bring it to about here, and I'll have the opacity as 30, so it'll be dark before the monochrome. And then bang, where our effects start, you know, just put another keyframe there, and then put that back to 100. I think maybe I need to move these forwards a tiny bit, just like this. But anyway, thank you very much for watching.